Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual program, the Target Individual experience. Um, so here's what happened this morning, okay? And again, uh, this is how they try to put in subliminal messages or try to send me subliminal messages, followed by, after that, I'll start to hear police sirens, right? So I got up and went to make breakfast. Um, I was in the kitchen, right, cooking eggs. My sister came in the kitchen, and she said to my niece, "Let me go make Jace a bottle of milk." Now that's my niece's son. He's going to be 1 year old. So she comes in the kitchen. She's looking for a bottle. She goes, "I don't know uh, you know, where his bottles does be, right?" And she's like, "I'm trying to make him some milk." And then she goes, "One." Right? She just blurted out the number one. Right? So finished making my eggs. Brought my tea and my plate and plate with eggs in my bedroom. And within a couple seconds, was followed by the sounds of police sirens. Okay. So again, this is the subliminal. I was talking about how they always use numbers, right? Numbers, they like to use numbers, whether it be showing me 3 fingers, 4 fingers, or they would have perpetrators wearing shirts with numbers on it. And as a TI, it's directed towards you because of what they do, right? So they'll if they have the number on the back of the shirt, they'll purposely turn around so you can see it and then turn back and look at you, right? So again, this is how you get somebody attention. Okay, it's like when they use colors. Okay, so all of a sudden you start to see a whole bunch of people wearing the same color, right? Now people wear colors every day. Some people wear it randomly. I mean, something that happens randomly. There's barely, barely anytime you would get around people, and the majority of those people are wearing uh, the same color. And when I say the majority, I mean more than 3 or 4. I'm talking about maybe 10, 11, 12. You know, or you'll see people wearing different colors, but then you'll see just this one individual wearing this very bright color, and it's always going to be like the color red or the color yellow, right? Or you'll see a bunch of people hanging out on the sidewalk, and they'll all wear the same colors. Now, come on, you're telling me that everybody got up that morning, or that day, and they say, hey, we're going to put on the same colors and go hang out outside when Nigel is passing or any other TI is walking by, particularly when they're going somewhere or they're coming from somewhere. So again, we know these things happen because there have been a lot of cases in which you'll find jurors, right, where the majority of jurors wearing the same color, and it started to become noticeable to certain judges, okay, who had to even dismiss jurors after having a conversation with them. So we know people get together and plan things, okay? That's a fact. So when we as TIs talk about being gang stalked by people in our community and outside our community, who they'll bring in, as a new face, and particularly if you're a TI like me who, records a lot of this stuff, they will rotate individuals, right? So that you don't get a consistent video of them harassing you, of that individual. This is how they get around stalking, right? And particularly with the police, this is how they get around stalking. So with the police, sometimes, if they're stalking you, and I do mean stalking, sometimes they wouldn't even follow you. Sometimes they know what your route, so they will be in front of you, okay, to make it look like it's a coincidence, okay. But again, you always got to look at the frequency of the frequency of these things happening. The amount of times that they will do that, and if it's like a few times during the week, then it's not a coincidence. Okay. So again, like I said, they will find ways and things like that to um, target you. Because again, I woke up about an hour ago. I didn't leave my room. I was watching some videos, on Facebook, and at any time, my sister could have went into the kitchen to make her grandson, a bottle. But she waits until I go into the kitchen. Then she comes into the kitchen. Okay? And like I said, with these technologies, they can put words into people's mind, thoughts into people's mind. They wouldn't even know that it's something that's being done to them. Okay? Silent sound spread spectrum is a technology that does exactly that. All right? And for example, also, you'll start to see the effect of when you're microwave, not just within you, but also the people around you who is being affected by this, in a way that they're microwaving your household or your surrounding areas, so that when you leave your house, or if you're in your house, the people within your family members within your house, they'll start to target you. Right? So for example, they'll constantly be standing in the hallway, right? Just standing there. It's kind of like when you see people standing outside on the sidewalk. They're just standing there until they see you, and then they'll start to do things. They'll either start to walk towards you or walk away from you, or start tugging on their clothes, pulling on their clothes, start doing these hand signals. It's the same thing when you're in the house you're living with other people, right? And the psychological effect that it has on them, and this may be a little gross, okay, but so for example, my niece go to use the bathroom. She's taking a poop, right? She doesn't close the door. She leaves the door wide open, as I'm walking by. All right? Okay? Just leaves the door wide open. My grandnephew, he's here for the weekend. This morning he used the bathroom. Okay? Leaves. He taking a poop also. Leaves, right? I go to use the bathroom, and he doesn't flush the toilet. And so when I tell him, I'm like, hey man, don't do that. Flush the bloody toilet. Okay? He's like, why are you yelling at me? I'm like, I am not yelling at you. Okay? I might be stern in my voice, but I'm not yelling at you. It's the same thing with Pamela. It's like, whenever we get into an argument, she yells at me. But when I raise my voice, it's like, why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me? Right? This is the negative effect that being exposed to these type of directed energy weapons have on the human mind. Okay, even those people who are not the intended target, but they're being affected because of the microwave to target you. They become sensitive to being spoken to in a very stern manner, right? Because again, they can yell at you, but you can't yell back at them, right? Because when you yell back at them, they'll tell you, why you're yelling at me. Well, you're yelling at me. If you raise your voice at me, I'm gonna raise my voice. So I get that with Pam a lot, and she's like, somehow she becomes very afraid when I speak up for myself, and particularly when she's yelling and it's carrying on. I'm like, listen, you're yelling. I said, I'm not yelling. You're the one that's yelling. So when you start yelling at me, after a while, I'm gonna raise my voice, and I'm not yelling at you. I'm just speaking with a stern voice. It's like the regression of the mind. They have like a childlike state, right? And they feel like they're being scorned by a parent, right? Instead of taking it as, yeah, like what you just did, that's not good. Okay? And if you're going to yell at somebody and the person yell at you back, don't accuse them of yelling at you, because you're yelling, you're raising your voice. Okay? So this is what's been going on. Like I said, I researched this stuff and I analyzed this stuff, and I analyzed the people around me and how they're affected by these things. And so, stuff like that, trying to manipulate your emotions. Let me give you guys another example that happened a couple weeks ago after me and Pam had got into an argument and I came home. My upstairs neighbor, right? I got home that night, and at got ready for bed. I'm laying in my bed. Next thing you know, it's like above me, I'm hearing the bed squeaking, going up and down like somebody's having sex, right? Now, I have never experienced this before. But like I said, whenever me and Pam get into an argument and I leave, they always try to send me a subliminal message about, they're gonna introduce her to this guy, that guy, particularly white guys. And I got videos again too where I get on the bus again and there'll be just one white guy there. I'm on the bus stop, there'll be this one white guy there sticking out like a sore thumb, right? So this is what I'm talking about. This is how they kind of grab your attention with these things, particularly with these subliminal messages. And I really and truly, I don't care. Okay, I don't care, because if I did care, then I wouldn't leave and go home, right? I would be there, but I'm not going to be somewhere where someone is manipulating me, right, for their gains, okay? And when I stand up for myself, I become the villain, right? And these are narcissistic behavior within people and society as a whole. The majority of people in society are narcissistic. You can't help it. Okay, you are conditioned that way. And until you get a true understanding of what narcissism is, all right, and you can look up the definition, because people like to throw it around, but not realizing that they may have more narcissistic trait than the person that they call a narcissist. Because when people can get their way, okay, they tend to make the person that they can get their way with the villain. Okay, and so just wanted to explain that. And like I said, particularly with this morning, with the whole, my sister blurring out one and then, hearing sirens afterwards. It's something that's been done over time, and it's not going to stop. But I got to keep recording it. Okay, see you guys in the next video.